forest, he bears no chains. The choir knows when the moon hangs low. Bjorn recalls the blood's warm flow. Yet undeterred, with ironclad will battles fought and need to spill. Winter's frost, ale in the veins, for what he's lost, for what he's lost. Feeling neath northern lights, in twilight's grip, scars on his soul, iron at his hip. Odin's blasting, fierce and proud, echoes of laughter, meet fountain loud. Every scar, a story in his veins. From fjord to forest, he bears no chains. In the quiet hours when the moon hangs low, Bjorn recalls the blood's warm flow. Yet undeterred, with ironclad will, battles fought and need to spill. With the wind in his beard and the roar on his lips, Bjorn the brave sailed like the apocalypse. Found a Nile of golden grain and honey, where shadows move and wolves are cunning. By the fire's light, with meat in hand, conquered lands, oaken shield he stands. With a twist and a snap, a crimson sigh, meat open wide, blood ran dry. Oh, the hand of the meat, cut by fate in the hall of the warriors. Celebrate a tale of toil, blood in the sand. Raise your horns for the Vikings' hand. Searing pain bites like winter's frost, nail in the veins for what he's lost. Beneath northern lights in twilight's grip, scars on his soul, iron at his hip. Odin's blessing, fierce and proud, echoes of laughter, meet fountain loud. Every scar, a story.
Right into the podcast.
Hello, everyone.
That'd be helpful.
Ignore the moving background.
Ignore the moving background and the fact that you couldn't hear me at first. You couldn't hear me this time. You could hear those two, but you couldn't hear me.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Let's Talk Call Shop
Yes.
podcast. And we are and me and Samurai are with Injury McGee over here.
Hence the song. I was trying to open a bottle of mead last night with a pair of scissors. They slipped and I cut my hand. So that theme song was actually me telling the story of me cutting my hand. A little over exaggerated. I let the AI have a little bit of free reign there, but yeah, that was my fun night last night. Thank
called
you.
The Story of the Past.
Thank you, Josh, for helping me out. Also, today is Father's Day, so if you have not, go ahead and reach out. Go ahead and reach out to your fathers and wish them a happy Father's Day.
Exactly.
So today we are talking about some matches.
Our big events.
Yes, our big
Our-
events.
The things that we end our season with, things that we pretty much write off for all of our storylines with.
Essentially the mega shows. That's what we're starting with, or that's what we're talking about today. I figure we'll start with Samurai today.
All right.
So, Samurai, you are up. We're talking about Ring of the Sky. Your big show.
Yes. Essentially, me taking a name from my favorite book series of all time, and just taking the fucking what I thought was the last book in the series, and just making that the Mania.
Okay.
I guess you just want me to talk about the first match that I picked.
Yeah, just start talking about the matches that you see on the screen. I'm gonna go ahead and scroll through. I have a slideshow set up, so just let me know when you want me to go to the next slide, and let's go ahead and start here with this War Maidens Championship between Lee Ray and Kira Young.
Yeah, basically, this was kind of the first main event, I guess you could say, of the entire thing. With the whole idea of being basically this one being basically Lee Ray, at the time the Deadliest Warrior champion, because that's kind of been like Deadliest Warrior, to kind of give context, is it's kind of SCD's kind of Royal Rumble mixed with the King of the Ring tournament. Lee Ray had won basically I think I made it a 32-person tournament, and that was a mistake I did not replicate.
Okay.
In the next season, because I just don't really ever see myself ever trying to do basically 32 people for both men and women, because that's fucking too much.
That is a lot of
What
a lot of
what
work.
kind of fool would ever do an entire pay-per-view just with tournaments?
In fairness, I didn't do basically all of them on one fucking pay-per-view. I did them over several videos.
What kind of fool would do that? Is his name against all odds? Hey! I finally hit my follower goal. Nice.
Let's go.
Thank you.
There's gonna be a podcast where we just see B-roll and talk about that entire debacle.
Oh yes. Oh
this
yes. Ladies and gentlemen,
match in
at
particular
some point, sorry, I'm gonna let you get back to this, but at some point I am gonna grab that said pay-per-view that we were just talking about and grab highlights, and we're gonna do a little fun podcast on it. Anyway, continue, Samurai.
This is where I get to find out exactly how much fucking Odds hates himself.
Oh, that's gonna be a fun one.
But anyways, literally, this was just basically the first main event for basically Ring of the Sky, and it was basically one of my basically longest standing cause in Akira Young taking on one of my best friends in his entire I say community, but it ain't really much of a community at times, is it?
That time.
Well, it's one of my closest friends. I wanted to put over one of their calls and basically give them a big moment. What better way to do that than basically give them a tournament win, and then also build them up to then dethrone one of my calls and become a world champion.
Okay.
We can scroll along.
All right.
Going from one title to the next. Actually, not one title. I think it's just one match to the next.
You had the Max Young Open Challenge.
Oh yeah. One of the first times I've ever basically had someone else's title be defended on my show.
Yes, I remember these.
Which, two stories to go with this. First one was the fact that like I had decided to bring in someone else outside the show to basically face off against Max. I think it was a 30-minute Falls Count Anywhere Extreme Rules like Iron Man match of some sort. I forget what it was. But basically, I brought in a person by the name of Jimmy Doro, who at the time was representing a show called Dudleyville Wrestling as their I Am the Tables champion. I'm just gonna say that straight up because, I mean, you could go back and go watch it. You'll find out exactly why. But that match was literally just like, I wanted to have Max defend his belt outside of CPW. I wanted to make sure that it was cool with odds. And then not only did he give me the green light, I'm like, okay, cool. Do this. And I thought, let's make it even bigger. Just bring in someone else in from outside the company. Let's do this.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those big ones. I was like, it was one of those dream matches I could finally get to make happen.
And it was cool because you got to add a title to it and make it even more, add a little more weight to it too.
Yeah, pretty much. Even though that same person, Jimmy Daro, almost got spoiled the day before because of a certain idiot.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure he's gonna basically pop up at any minute and go, "Yeah, that was me."
We're gonna go page down.
Yeah, it was one of those cool moments. Just like,
I'm an ass man.
God damn it, odds.
Yeah, I'm an ass man.
I saw that motherfucker. I'm still watching the Twitch chat.
I am too. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the Pokemans to show up.
God damn. All right.
But anyways, that's it for that one. I thought you were still scrolling. Oh, this one.
So this is just kind of the order that they loaded in. Unfortunately, like I tried reorganizing it, but I just ran out of time.
Hey, no, you had it right.
So what brought these two to have to fight each other? Father and son. That had to
I had
be.
in mind was basically I wanted to do a story where basically I had Leon he wanted to stand on his own 2 feet and go for the world title because at the moment he had been the European champion.
Okay.
But the idea was that Kyle had seen what happened because I think there was one of the matches earlier in the season where Kyle had seen Leon get the fucking shit kicked out of him. Made bloody, basically things went bad, etc., etc. The idea was I wanted Leon to basically kind of push it to get Kyle to fight him, to get him to basically kind of accept the fact that Leon is his own man, that Leon could do things on his own. I didn't want to do that because he didn't want to hurt his own son. It took me in storyline basically having Akira and at the time the general manager Sophia Winters basically saying, yeah, by the way, we booked it, you can't do anything about this, you're facing him at the biggest stage of them all.
Okay.
And honestly, I think I did a pretty good job, even though basically it took 2-ish takes, I think. Because I think one of the matches I had ended off of a fucking regular move, and I didn't want that to happen. So I'm like, alright, let me actually make sure this ends off a fucking fin.
And I totally understand that. Been there, done that. And did you get the winner that you wanted in the match? Everything worked out?
Yes, I did.
Alright.
Yes, I did.
Alright.
I think the next one you're gonna pull up, I think, if I remember correctly.
Jason Oliver versus mystery
opponent. This one's
opponent.
good. This one was one of my favorites to pull up because I had a surprise in store, which was the fact that I was bringing back one of my calls that I had just retired. In the time before his retirement was Tony Tiger, but then when I revived him, he was Tony Stevens. Thank you, odds, for the name.
Problem.
No longer
The whole idea was
great.
I wanted to have sorry.
Nothing. You didn't hear that. So you're good.
It's great.
Okay.
He's no longer great.
Fuck off, both of you. But the whole thing was just pretty much I wanted to have Jason like be on the show, but I also wanted to basically like have him face somebody. I'm like, okay, let me think who I want to do.
He's
And then
awesome.
and then I decided, you know what? I didn't think I did much with this call. Bring him back and let's see if I can give him another run. Although it brought back one of the best lines from Mob, that being, yeah, he's a furry.
Damn.
I'm pretty sure Mob's gonna look back at this podcast and go, did I actually say that?
Did I really say that?
Yeah.
All right.
And also, I should to mention this real quick. The 3 matches you saw before were from Ring of the Sky 1. This is now starting on Ring of the Sky 2.
Okay.
I believe this was on, I forget what day it was. I literally just looked this up when I was like going through my Twitter going like, okay, let me see if I can find these screenshots for the match cards.
Hey man, I get it. I was going through PlayStation going, do I still have all mine? This morning, I was running through it all.
Same.
We did this. We threw this together, guys. Like literally.
I remember deleting some arenas, so I'm just like, please, do I have them all?
Yeah, and me in vacation mode. We threw this together. Like I want to say yesterday. We started throwing ideas around yesterday, and this was the idea that we had. Let's just talk about our big shows. And then my thing was, do I still have screenshots from those? All right, so we're gonna go down one more.
Like for me, Twitter has everything, so
Yeah, it's a good thing for some of these events. I actually did highlight videos.
Which I actually.
ooh, this one.
I realized
I remember which day this was on.
highlight video. I realized I stopped doing highlight videos for the last 2 events.
Which
The
I.
last 2 starts. I need to go back to do. I need to go back and do. I go back to doing highlight videos.
Okay, this one was one of my favorites. Again, it's one of my, if they say 2 of my best friends in COA, that being Cara and then Jane, both going toe-to-toe with the Women's Hardcore Championship on the line, which I think this is the last match that was actually ever defended. Until I decided to change it over to the Women's, I think, Television Championship. Yeah, the Women's Television Championship.
Okay.
Although this kind of feels like one of my biggest regrets because of the fact that, like, it was a good match at first, but then also, like, I kind of bungled up everything else afterwards. Like, for example, like, I was going to give Garrel a good run with this belt, and then I think Cara had once quick call, so I had to take the belt away. And they came back, and I'm like, okay, fuck, I can't take that back now.
Damn. Yeah.
But I might still have some ideas for how to salvage this whole feud, because I did have plans to keep this feud going long after Ring of the Sky ever happened. So
You could have her come back and have her have the freaking belt still. That would be funny. Just have
I
her
could, but,
have her
eh.
just have her say that she's been defending it, overseas or something like that. Yeah.
From Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah, she's been defending it in Rio de Janeiro the entire time.
Oh God. Maybe, yeah. I mean, firstly, she did have a few defenses after this whole show went down, so she
Well,
could
that's
very
good.
easily just say that she's been holding it down, or basically she's been trying to come back. Because I think the original play was like she'd gotten taken out because of injury or something.
Well then, okay, maybe she had to vacate this belt because of injury, and then.
But no, basically I had to vacate the belt anyway. So basically, it's
Okay.
just been me now, basically trying to crown a new champion.
Ah,
Which that will happen on the first episode of Adrenaline. Hint, hint.
all right.
Land in the song.
Goddamn. All right.
Champion, champion, Cody Rhodes.
So now we have
Okay.
Adrian Clinton versus Byron Pullen.
AEW.
Okay, this one is one of my favorite matches to talk about because of the fact that, like, this has quite a bit of a story going into it, because at the time, Byron was my longest running European champion, even to the point of the fact that I threw him into, like, a elimination chamber, an all submission chamber. Motherfucker was entered in number 1 and came out the fucking winner. Like, I
Wow.
threw my hands up and just said, what the fuck? And I've been wanting to find who could actually take the belt off of him, and well, Adrian Clinton was on the rise, and he had been like one of those guys that he had the opportunity, but every time he had the match, he kept getting screwed over at the last second, or potentially had like a triple threat match he had to deal with. He never quite had that a one-on-one opportunity that didn't like go off without a hitch. So basically, he earns an opportunity, and it's basically him like going to try to see if he can dethrone Byron. He ends up doing, honestly, was one of the best moves I think I've ever actually put together. Adrian is still the European champion to this day, which, yeah.
Okay.
Partially because of the fact that I haven't done many shows, but he has defended it on like partner promotions like EWN. Paige, shout out to you.
All right. So he has been defending the title. It's just not in SCD. And hopefully we can get some SCD back. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah, we will.
We need SCD back, damn it. All right.
Okay, I have a feeling I know what's next, and if it is, then this is going to be a legendary story to it.
Hold on, I gotta click on the.
Yep, I do it.
There we go. SCD World Tag Team Championship.
Titles. It was a good match. At the same time, it wasn't legendary for the fact that it was a good match. For what happened before it.
Well, what happened before it that made it so legendary?
Okay, I'll put it like this. At the time, I had been like doing like Share Factory, and basically I was kind of running through the show.
Okay.
I got into Odds commercial. Odds commercial at the time, I think it still does, has like that long section of basically having like his logo on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I had thought that the show that part had ended. I was like, wait, did I actually forget to record this match? So I exit out. I go to the next match. We go through 2 matches before then. We're then going, okay, let me actually double check this real quick. I go back to the clip beforehand. I then hit the like a R1 to go to the end. Different commercial altogether. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I scroll back to the match before that and go, oh, I did miss something. Everybody was laughing their ass off.
Oh
Even
my
me.
god. That's amazing.
I wish I could provide the clip for you so you could actually like watch this, because it ain't.
My commercial's so good. He made somebody forget.
Your words exactly were. I think your words exactly were. My commercial is so awesome it made Samurai botch.
Goddamn. Bang, thank you for the
It was
subscribe.
amazing.
Thank you for subscribing. Much appreciated. Welcome to the channel. Oh my god.
Yeah. It was the point. I think like it worked out because of the fact that it did give like Lance and Byron both a higher spot in the card with their tag titles.
Yeah.
I just felt bad because I I think beforehand I was so worried that I had missed it up. I'm like, okay, if you guys are still here, I will make sure that you guys get an actual match another day. Not realizing that I had skipped over it.
You're like, I really want to apologize right now, and then whoops. I
I
mean,
don't have to apologize.
yeah, I mean, I have one coming up that we'll see when we get to my stuff. That I have a story for. I have a story for you guys. Oh, it's gonna be a fun one.
All right.
Oh my
Now
gosh.
what's next? What did I give you next?
Oh, so next actually is Starcade.
Oh,
Because
okay. Yeah.
you gave me like a set of like 15 pictures, and then you narrowed it down to 7.
I think I sent them a set of 7.
Yeah, you sent a set of 7, and those are the 7.
Ah.
So-
I was like thinking about it, like, oh, okay. So now we're moving on to someone else.
Yep, our next segment is going to be CPW Starcade. Just going through showing some of Odds' arenas.
Which I believe this arena was. Yeah, this is the one where this is the Miami Starcade, so this must be the last of 2K19.
Probably.
This has to be the 2023 arena.
Mm-hmm.
There's obviously the 2022 arena. Thank heavens there's only one Starcade in that
In that game.
fucking game.
Which one is this? This one is like the one with all the fire and like the giant. Is this the new one? Is this what we're getting this year? With the ginormo stage?
No, that's freaking gosh. Oh, that's 22.
That was
That's
22.
This is 22s? Okay.
We were in Texas
In
because
Texas.
that's
Okay.
we were in Houston for 22.
So yours went backwards, so I'm gonna go back to the beginning for it. All the way to 2020. We're gonna go through these cards really quick. Sorry guys. We'll go back up. Is this the 2021? The chat.
That's
Yeah,
2024.
well, no, you're a few seconds behind me. So I'm at 2020, don't worry. So I can we can start by going through your cards, or I have the highlight reels that you sent me, and you can.
We'll get to the highlight reels.
Okay.
This was the first Starcade. Beforehand was Collision Course was my main show, and then I decided to bring back Starcade because why the fucking hell not?
Okay.
Give myself an actual show.
All right.
This one is probably one of my favorites.
Okay.
In a big 6-man, but you had two like big 6-man big 6-man match, two big 6-man matches. A Cicely Scott match that I can't say because of the chat. Taipan's match. You had the mystery.
I can tell who you had Cicely Scott against. It was Black Mamba.
Oh yeah,
Mamba.
that's the edited match where it was Cicely Scott's undefeated run as Women's Intercontinental Champion on the line against Mamba.
Mm-hmm.
Then we found out. Then it was Mafia versus Team CPW. Yes, this feud's been going on for a long time, folks.
Yep.
It was I think it was
And there was a
Chris
mystery.
Onyx, Wilson, and was it Kyle? I think
it was Kyle. I think it was the debut of Kyle Young.
Wow, it debuted at Starcade at the biggest show.
And then, does everybody remember Phoenix's match?
I do.
This one was special.
Fucking hell.
If I remember, I think it was Ray Geddes, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Yes, this is when he got stunned to hell back.
Ray Geddes around this time was semi-retired and still was doing some shows. So I was able to contact him and pitch him the idea of what was going to happen and what I was going to do. Phoenix, come in, beat up this freaking up and coming smartass that needs a good ass kicking.
Yep.
And he more than obliged. He was happy to be a part of the show, and it's probably one of my favorite moments it's probably one of my favorite Starcade moments. I know it's a lot of people's because that moment because seeing the eruption, seeing Phoenix get his ass kicked, and knowing of what I was going to do with Phoenix later, I knew I was going to get his heat back.
Yep.
Gonna get his heat back in a major way.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god. Because this was like, I believe this was before the Liberty stuff. The Liberty story really kicked in.
Before Freedom's Reign.
Yeah.
Every Freedom's Reign, Liberty, all of it was already pre-planned way in advance.
But this was like the moment where like all of the old stories got closed before the new story started up.
This was kind of the thing where Phoenix called somebody, was doing an open challenge, and here comes the big guy. Here comes the old veteran that used to kick the ass of people like Chris Knight back in the day. Here comes this legend. And Phoenix is able to at least somewhat stand his ground against him, even though he gets his ass kicked.
Yep. And then your main event on this card.
My two main events,
Well-
by far, two of my
Well-
favorite matches.
We'll talk about
You probably go to the footage now of Shipwreck versus Ashley.
the footage is all tied together. So let's go to the footage.
Asshole.
What? I had to grab it really fast, so
You're good.
uh
Yeah, this match for story purposes, this match is one of my favorites, and how it turned out it's one of my favorite matches, and it shows that AI can have good storytelling in the matches if you actually try.
Oh, God bless you, feet. So the match that we're actually starting with here on your highlights is SJW versus Samantha Young. And I'm sorry for being a little disjointed here on the uptake.
Mhm.
This one is for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes, I do.
World Championship. Yeah, this is where Samantha won her first championship.
So this is where she won one of her first championships.
Yeah, this is where she won her first championship. The background for this, I was not expecting. I was not thinking that SJW was going to win, and I thought it was going to be Diamond Johnson facing Samantha, and Samantha was going to beat Diamond Johnson. But once I saw SJW win, I had to have SJW be the one in the main event. Because
I think I remember, like, with this entire matchup, I think the pay-per-view itself, I was at a wedding, so I think I got in the car, I load up my phone, and it's literally the last moments of this matchup.
She hits the frog splash. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, hello! I've been here in time!
Yep, he's like, he got here right time. It's like, yay! It's one of my it's definitely one of my favorite matches, because a shocker happened on the road to it with SJW getting a championship. No one thought she would. Everyone's been trying to give her a fucking push and get her back into her winning ways. And she was also able to put over the young up and coming star in Samantha Young.
Yeah.
Certainly,
I just feel
one of
bad
my
that,
favorite.
I cut the run short.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this was
Honestly, that one of the most popular reigns as women's champion.
Yeah. Until then, you decided to have Harvey go, "Oh yeah, the experiment's over,"
No,
and then Lioness.
until Lion decided to until in storyline Lioness fucked her over.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which we know what that led to. The reign of the Fresnetti.
Yep. Oh yeah, this was. There's gonna be a little bit of overlap here. The next match that we're talking about is Delvin McLeod versus the American Phoenix.
Oh my gosh!
3 stages of hell.
One of my favorite Starrcade matches of all time. There is no Starrcade main event that will ever top this match. I loved the build. I loved the push here. The videos. Honestly, for a little bit, this video was constantly played just to bug Beetle.
Oh, yeah, I know. I would be in parties with them, and I would hear the theme song to this.
Vito doesn't realize how I make cause, and at times I will just play some music on repeat, and he didn't know that, and it drove him insane.
Yeah.
This is like the one fuck up of the event where no one heard that line. It was a line from 300 where it was you will know a few stood against many. You will know that even a god king can bleed.
Yep. And Phoenix
I
at
know. I think I heard that when I was like watching this live. So
Phoenix at this time was running around. At this point in time, was running around. He was the title connoisseur. You know, he was walking out and oh, it wasn't the connoisseur yet. Oh, that's right. He was the king of the universe. He
just cashed in. He was the king of the universe.
He's telling everybody he's the king of the universe. He's walking around in a freaking Thanos jacket or a Thanos mask and golden glove.
Thanos glove and
yep.
And now he comes
Man,
down at the pay-per-view dressed as a general.
Yep, he's overdoing it, right? And
yeah, Phoenix at his most egotistical.
Yeah, and Delvin is like, all right, someone needs to knock you down a peg, essentially.
Yeah, which led to 3 Stages of Hell, which was going to be the last match between these two, but that ended up not happening.
Oh, and I believe it was even, I think, a month later. Well, let's wait till the finish. Let's wait till the finish before I say anything. But yeah, there was a lot of symbolism in this table, in the tables part of the match too, that a lot of people don't really know about. Or if you don't know, there's a lot of symbolism in this tables match because Delvin at one point was the Octane World Cruiserweight Champion for like 3 years straight. He didn't drop the belt. He had a 3-year title reign, and he had a title defense on
in a Iron Man tables match.
Yep.
On our friend Monk's show, and Phoenix somehow
beat him live.
When I was just about to delete Phoenix, beat Delvin for the Cruiserweight Championship, which led to where Phoenix is now as a character. So there's a lot of symbolism in doing this tables matches there as one of their matches, which leads into the final match, the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. And that, jeez, man. I was watching the replay. I was watching the highlights this morning because I was grabbing all the footage, and I forgot how crazy this match was.
This is one of my favorite matches. It came together so well. And it was the proper main event for the show. It worked for the entire show. This is actually when we start. I think this is the first one. Yeah, this is the year later, after the 2020 show. This is the year later. So this is the year later of the show, and Phoenix is now in the main event. And so many people by this point were wondering if Phoenix was going to actually retain. And this is when we started doing 2-night events.
I think I've been always doing 2-night events for our Manias. You just started doing that.
Yeah, by this point, I had to jump on the bandwagon of 2-night events. And this was all AI. After I switched over, when he was setting up and he kicked out, that is all AI going for another one, hitting another one and pitting him 1, 2, 3.
Yep, and going for that finish.
All AI doing that, which led to which was an amazing ending to the match.
This one didn't have a thank you for watching. It went straight to the freaking end scene. I was like, God damn it!
Well, yeah, because I technically, I think some of these I actually forgot to add that because I was doing it for at the time, the, the year long freaking show, the freaking stupid bullshit of the match of the year,
Yep.
Superstar.
Oh yeah, that stuff. But that's what I love about your show is you do that like match of the year candidate and all these things where you're showing the matches and having people vote for it, and I love that. Like I
Yeah,
really
I'll
Yeah.
still do the highlight. I'll get back to the highlight videos once the new season starts. But
So the next highlight we're looking at here that you sent
this
me.
is 2020. One of my favorite matches. I just let this match play, and whoever won. And the AI did so much storytelling in this match. What a one of my favorite matches ever that I've ever recorded is this one between Ashley and Shipwreck.
You've got quite possibly one of my favorite characters in this match, which is Cheryl Shipwreck. I've gone out and said she's one of my favorite of your creations on multiple occasions.
Which, by the way, if you want to hear the music from these highlight reels, just go to my channel. The highlight videos are there. We are not playing the music. We are not playing the music and muting and having the videos muted just for copyright reasons.
That and we're talking over him, so I figured it'd be better just not to have the music.
Yeah.
You know, I figured it'd be better not to have it and just talk about if
I built this as a back and forth as a feud of just whoever wins will win, and that honestly led to Ashley having one of the longest reigns in CPW, which was amazingly fun. A reign that honestly, if I would have continued it, would have actually easily toppled Benjamin's without anyone even noticing. That's how no one was realizing how long her reign was going. And I loved the Iron Claw ending because it made it look like she passed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the claw is one of those moves where it's like I think the animation's always like the person will pass out from the hold.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite endings because it's just like she didn't tap out, she passed out at the end.
Yeah.
So she could have gotten the win, but she didn't at the end.
Well, then we have
One of my favorite matches and one of my favorite characters of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Sawyer versus Benjamin Knight.
Yeah, Jason Sawyer versus Benjamin Knight for the World Heavyweight Championship. Benjamin's reign at this point has been 1 year in 2 months. So 453 days as world champion. The longest in history. I'm ready to put somebody else over. Sawyer's gone from the opening match to the pre-show to the opening match to main event.
I think I remember like part of this was also like I think you had sent him to me for the Deadliest Warrior tournament to build him up a bit. I'm like, okay.
Yep. And that
the dude did well though.
Yeah, and that led to one of my favorite Chris Knight promos where I was able to do a Chris Knight promo on Sawyer and did it like a military sergeant, where Chris talked like a military sergeant because of Sawyer's military background.
Yeah.
And him talking about that tournament, saying saying, "I'm not looking for a fanboy to fight me, soldier. I'm looking for the next future world heavyweight champion."
And I think if I remember correctly, I think Chris got squashed.
He did. The AI did it perfectly. Chris got beaten like less than 5 minutes. Nobody has ever beaten Chris that fast. Sawyer beat him in like less than 5 minutes. It was amazing. The game really did help push Sawyer to the moon. And this match really did help. I think it's like a couple matches put together. But by this point it's one match. By this point, by the time the blood happens, I think it's one match.
One match the rest of the way through.
This was my favorite ending because it actually is the move that I wanted to end up being his finisher, which is now his main finisher, the sniper shot, the Claymore.
Yeah.
And he ends the match.
Like, I think. Sorry, you keep going.
There you go.
I was gonna say, I think we have a fucking similar idea for a finisher. That'd be that Claymore, because I think I have it on Leon.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's go and open the image slideshow back up.
Yeah.
Alright, so those were our match highlights, and we had just talked about
because I have not done match highlights for at least two different Starcade for highlight matches, and I have not done that in quite some time, and like I said, I need to go back to doing those.
So
for Starcade.
Yep. So next we have the November.
Yeah, this is the 2021.
Yep. This is when you switch to 2 nights. I believe this was.
Yeah, this is the first night. That's obviously the main event match right there. Samantha versus SJW. We just saw that highlight. Lady Liberty. This is when Lady Liberty lost her mask. Mask versus hair versus Ashley Knight. This is also the show where I gave Tiger Dragon the United States Championship. There is a story with Tiger Dragon. We're still. I'm not going to spoil all of it because we're still in the middle of it.
Okay.
Anybody that's watching kind of understands where it's going.
I think what this Starcade has one of my favorite matches of all time, that being the Exodus versus Armageddon matchup.
Yep, Exodus
mostly for the story that was built into it.
Exodus versus Armageddon. Just because of my own forgetfulness of forgetting that Samurai had Armageddon, so I was planning on retiring Armageddon until he's like, "Wait a minute, I have Armageddon. What the hell?"
Like, do I get rid of him now or what? He's like, "Oh shit, no, you don't have to. Got this."
Yeah, I'm like, we're gonna work with this. We're gonna work with this and try to fix this. Whoopsie.
Armageddon.
I think it actually did build to a very good story because the fact that we had. I think you revealed that Harvey had basically been fucking trying to like get Armageddon to retire.
Well, yeah,
confronts him.
Well, yeah, for me it was an easy thing because I wanted because with Harvey Gibson being a play on Gary Hart was as a character was a cold-hearted evil bastard. So play up Harvey Gibson as a cold-hearted evil bastard.
Yep.
I think give the boy like he also was forgetful because Kyle confronts him. He's like yeah, I'll confess, I did this.
Yeah, and Armageddon.
Who's gonna believe me or you? And then suddenly Armageddon comes around the corner.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things that I ever edited because it was technically me taking something from the older games that we can no longer do anymore backstage, which is the person overhearing what's happening in what they're talking about in the room while he's sitting there looking in like, "Oh, really?
Oh, really, you bastard."
So it was kind of a play on, and that scene was just taken to put in the game from what Batista did on the road to WrestleMania 21. Which, so a long layer there. I just love doing that scene because because that scene was hilarious. Because that would be how Armageddon would find out.
Yeah.
That someone had betrayed him. That it's like, oh yeah, he overhears that Gibson was going to fucking stab him in the back anyways.
And the big moment of this match was if Armageddon won, he gets 5 minutes with Gibson, which he got, but I think I did it better in a matchup of Starcade's future.
Yeah.
And I'll explain why when we get there.
Well, we're gonna go to night 2 of this event.
Yeah, we'll go to
next.
now.
Night 2 featured quite a few matches on here. I can see one from. Hold on.
We'll just ignore one of those top matches.
Boop.
I guess it's the one with Taipan in it.
Sorry, wrong box. I meant to do this. Boop. Technical difficulties. There are a lot of matches on this card. But if you had to pick
Linus versus Mamba, that didn't turn out exactly like I hoped.
Okay.
Which that is a story to it. That's just, and it's a very quick story because the 2K19 version of Linus was maxed out. So when I lowered her stats, this is before I lowered her stats. She was still maxed out.
Oh, that's right. In 19, once you max them out, they stay maxed. Even if you adjust
stats,
it, they stay maxed.
They're still technically kind of maxed.
Oh, I remember that. I hated that.
One of the few bugs 19 had that sucked ass.
Yeah, you had to pretty much recreate them if you wanted to get around it. That's no fun. Having to go in and recreate.
Yeah, so Linus beat freaking Mamba in like less than fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah, and 19 was the last game until 24, where the stats really did mean something. Yeah. 22 and 23, they don't really mean shit. And I have proof.
I was stuck on 22.
Yeah. 22 and 23, the stats don't mean anything. In 24, they mean something again. And this is something that I've tested. And 19 had a glitch, like we were just talking about, where if a call came to you at level 100, they would be stuck at level 100. If they came to you at a natural stat, you would be able to, like, they would stay at that nat stat. But whatever stat once you max them out, they're fucked. It's like, no! I do remember that.
Like, oh no!
Yeah.
Yep.
So if I ever got a call at 100 back then, and which was rare for me back then because of the group that we were all in. I think we were all doing nat stats anyway.
Yeah, because everybody by this point had pretty much acknowledged that nat stats were getting better matches.
I think I was the one of the few that didn't, because I think I was just still running off the concept of going all maxed out.
Well, and nat stats weren't necessarily the only ones getting good matches. I had seen shows that had done level 100s, that had done 100s and had good matches.
Well, we all have, but
good.
But around this time, you got to remember, around this time in 2021. And around this time, even beforehand, especially around this group, that was a myth. Everyone thought the max stats were the ones that were going to get good matches, and if you did natural stats, you were going to get shitty matches.
Yeah.
I will gladly say I was one of the people that stood my ground against that and said, hey, no, you can get good matches without max stats. People don't remember how badly that was ingrained.
Nah,
a little bit.
I
or
I
whatever
do
part-
I do remember because when I first got 19, and I think it was the CCM chat or one of the two chats. Someone had spoken up, and I don't remember who it was. It was too long ago. I don't remember. Don't care. But someone spoke up and said, "We're all doing level 100s this year." And I went, "All right, cool." And then I went in and I up.
I know who it is, but I'm not going to say it.
Yeah. I again, I don't.
I know who it is, and I'm not going to say the name.
I don't know, and I don't care. So anyway, so I went and I updated it. I upped everybody to 100, and I was like getting ready for it. And I just remember, I think I talked with you about it, and you were like, "What do you mean level 100s, are the only way to go? You can still do nat stats." And I went, "Well, shit! I just put everybody at 100." So I went back in and I put everybody down. And this is before they did the update, because what happened was they, like every game, they do updates throughout the game, right? Whenever DLC comes out. And at some point during the updates in 19, one of the updates caused that glitch, where once they hit 100, they stay at 100. So I was able to get everybody back to that stats before the stupid update happened. I just remember it though, and I was just like, God damn it.
Also, if you notice the kind of the outline here, you could tell where the event is.
Miami.
The trees. It's Miami. I've always tried to
Do that with the
match
match
up
cards.
where we're going to be with things that would acknowledge people of where we're at.
Yep. And we are going to jump to the next one because
Well, not yet.
uh,
You just ran on long. I was still talking about matches.
all right. I'll go back to it. I'm just looking at time, that's all. Go on.
I know.
Don't be a dick, Beetle.
Samurai, you gave me 7 screenshots.
I know I gave you 7 screenshots. That's all I needed.
Dark Trio and Morphin Power. Another one of my favorite matches, a favorite feud. I love this was the start of it, and this is how it started, and I loved how it started with the attack of Zach Adams, taking him out, coaxing them to give them a title shot. They won by crooked means. Or I can say what happens in the other matches because someone tried to screw that storyline up there. They're my broken friend. See? But that's a story for another day. Chris Knight versus Kyle Young. That was a match I could not wait to do.
That was what I
It's
couldn't
funny.
wait to actually see happen.
Yep, Kyle. It's funny. Kyle actually thought Chris Knight was going to win.
I thought so because I was like, it's probably it's his show. He's probably gonna have Chris go over. Turns out, nope. Kyle goes over. I'm like, oh shit, okay.
You don't know my
Cool.
you don't know my show that well.
I think at that point you would. In fairness, I think this was where I was still getting into knowing your show, so it wasn't like I knew everything off the bat.
Yeah.
NGC
Chris,
versus
I think you explained it afterwards. Chris always loses at fucking Starcade. Well, he always did lose at Starcade.
until this recent Starcade, he's always lost at Starcade. He's never won.
This time it's like, yep, the joke's over. It's more fun now.
Yeah, I ended that whole thing with a joke. With a joke match. So it ended in a good way where it ended with laughter.
Yep.
You had this fucking prick, John Frickington, walk out. He's talking
We'll
his
get to
shit.
that- we'll
Chris
get-
comes down, whoops his ass.
Yeah, we'll get to that one.
Well, we'll get there.
We'll get there. NGC versus Diamond Club. I would love to tell this whole story, but I cannot.
That one is a stream of its own.
that's a stream of its own, and also there's parts of this there's parts of it I will not say on stream.
Yep.
But Cliff Notes version, I wanted a longer feud. I wanted a year-long storyline between all of the members of the Diamond Club versus all the members of the NGC, which would have ended in the NGC obviously losing to the Diamond Club because, as everyone noticed and saw, that the secret reveal was going to be the NGC wasn't lasting long afterwards, and they were going to eventually split up and go their own separate ways. That didn't end up happening. That ended up nixed and turned into just one match. And I think it turned out well for what it was. I just wish it would have been longer, but that's how the cookie crumbles. And that was the second Starcade.
Okay, we good to go to the next page?
Huh?
Okay. Next we go to Dallas. It's I believe this is 2024. Day 1. Or that could be wrong.
Yeah, this is 2023.
23. Ah, that's right. 23 because you're...
We're in the Big Apple. We're in New York for this one. This, as it says, is the last of 19. This is the last show on 19. This is the first night. Cleo's retirement match. That, my gosh, putting together her send-off video, and just writing anything involving saying thank you to the fans for her run was just tear-jerking.
Yep. And that match meant a lot to me. Because that was kind of the match that you put one of my characters over in that match.
Yep.
And I was not expecting it. No, mind you guys, I never really ask for anything when it comes to what my characters do on people's shows. I'll send them over and kind of let what happens. And Jen was given a huge honor on this card, and that was she got to fight and beat Cleo in Cleo's final match. And for me, that's a huge honor because of what Cleo means to Odds and what the character means to him. To have one of my characters who is like pretty much already, she's kind of already at the top, but she's on her way up at the same time. To give her that big nudge really, really meant a lot to me. And I do actually want to say thank you for that.
No problem. Jen's been one of my favorite characters anyway, and I saw the similarities between the characters of both characters just dominating.
Yeah.
So if she was the perfect fit. On this same card, what most people don't remember is Pharaoh Dowdy also got retired on this same night. And he's actually the older brother of Cleo.
Yep.
So brother and sister both got retired in the same night.
Yep.
This is also the end of the year-long feud between Dark Trio and Morphin Power.
And also,
after a little bit of
the
time
third member of
away,
Morphin Power gets fucking squashed.
I don't remember. Did they get squashed in this match?
Not.
I think it was, because I think I remember correctly. It was either like, I think Freedom's Reign just fucking did most of the damage on Jason, and Jason gets.
No, this is the match that I screwed up on, and I thought it was the older games where you could do a cage match without escape, a tag match, cage match without escape, and you could not.
No, he's not talking about the tag cage match. He's talking about the other match right next to it.
I'm talking
Oh,
about the
The
match
one-
right next to it.
The one where Freedom's Reign pretty much
Yeah, Freedom's
squashes
Reign
Jason
versus
Oliver
Zack
like a pancake.
So Jason Oliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't meant to be that. Here's the interesting story behind that whole thing. Freedom's Reign was supposed to win the championship on this. Was supposed to be champion already. He was supposed to be champion already, and he was supposed to already have held the belt, and this was his. And this is going to be the pay-per-view where his reign ended. And Jason Oliver was going to slay the big beast, slay the dragon, and win the day. This was 2023. I missed Starrcade for 2022. Around this year, we lost Jason David Frank. Not going to go into it. Not going to comment on it. If you want to go back to the streams, we've kind of already done that in some there. But I decided to call an audible and give Jason Oliver the championship early instead of waiting instead of on the stream where we're paying tribute to Jason David Frank having Freedom's Reign walk out United States champion. I was gonna have the character based off him win the belt. Which meant this match had to be changed for Starrcade, which was Freedom's Reign finally winning the belt.
Freedom's Reign.
Unfortunately,
Finally.
the match, like you said, it wasn't meant to be a squash match, but it's kind of how 2K19 apparently decided it to go.
Freedom's Reign finally winning the match before he would gain an extra 200 pounds.
Yeah, that's the one problem. That's another problem with 19. They didn't know how to manage weight.
Yeah,
Of how characters looked.
they didn't know how to make big guy, like overweight guy, obese characters. So Freedom's Reign now finally looks like that big,
Freedom's Reign now looks like
obese.
he's 400 and
badass.
some odd pounds.
Yeah. He now looks like he can squash someone. I mean, you had to make him. I think
This he looked like he was. In this, he looked like he was like 300 pounds.
right, and you had to make him taller in this, if I remember right, so that way he would look bigger. Because he didn't look bigger. Because he's not as tall as you would think. And in 19, you had to make him taller so he looked bigger. And then in 22, he wasn't as tall. Just funny. It's like he's kind of a little shorter and way chubbier. I mean, obviously looks 400 pounds now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, in that game, you had to make him taller.
Yeah.
I remember because I believe I ended up downloading him or something like that. And I was looking at him going, he's taller in 19 than he is in 22.
And also, they managed the height thing.
Yep. All right. We're going to move on to...
Indu Haradas versus Alice
Hmm.
Pierce. This was the debut of, which was supposed to be a debut that happened in 22, but ended up having to be a debut in 19. That's a long story. That could be its own fucking podcast. That whole journey in and of itself.
Yep.
Was the debut of the Wonderland Alice Pierce that was based off of the Queen of Hearts.
And I like how on the match card you have her looking one way, and then when she walked out, she looked completely different.
That was done purposely.
Oh, I know.
That was done purposely to keep the mystique.
Exactly. And I love it when people who do edited shows like this do that. Where like you think you're gonna see one thing, and then what actually happens is something completely different happens when they walk out, and you're just like, whoa, because it adds to the show. It's a small thing. It's a small thing on the surface, but it really does make a big impact. It's also a pain in the ass to do because you have to record. You have to start recording a match, stop because you now have the cutscene, or you now have the match card, and then go in and record the actual match, and hope that the match that you did with this one isn't good. Like that's usually my. I don't even watch the matches anymore. I'm
I don't
like,
even watch the match.
No.
Once I get the clip, I just exit before the match starts.
yep, turn the entrance off, grab the clip, and
Not
then
even that. I go outside of the PlayStation and press exit application,
oh shit, you're worse than I am.
and then go back in.
Damn, I usually just like skip the entrances and then exit the match and then go to the next
Pro Wrestling-
match.
Tag team pro. This was the rise of the Pro Wrestling Express,
Mhm.
beating the long running Constrictors.
Which I think for this match, it also had Carmen come out
Oh,
alongside
sure,
them.
Yep, Carmen came out alongside them, and for the last time until maybe 24 fixes it, but until
Yep.
maybe 24, you saw the Constrictors come out with Black Mamba,
Well, and
because that wasn't going to happen in 22.
I can confirm that 24 has fixed that. You can
Hooray!
have a female manager again in tag team matches. Hell, you can have a female manager in a tornado tag match in 24.
Nice.
I have done some extensive testing on this. So you'll like 24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And folks, do not even ask me who is that mysterious person. I have completely forgotten by this point.
okay.
One of my favorite main events. What nobody knowing what was going to happen. What's not shown here was the rise of Catherine T. Bresnetti as world champion.
I think that's in day 2, which we haven't gotten to yet.
Probably one of the best storylines I've ever done, making people think that she was going to fail to cash in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We're gonna go to day 2.
Yeah, going on day 2.
Okay. Top 3. What are your top 3 matches on this card?
I have to have a bigger fucking screen first. Stupid damn commercials.
Also, you're trying to rush him along.
Well, all right. I won't rush. So day 2.
It's not rushing that much along. Tiger Dragon Kyle Young, that was just thrown together because I know Kyle wanted to do that match, and I kind of wanted to see what was going to happen. Jay Benton versus Nathan was just the rise of Nathan Cunningham, and the lead into the return of the Mafia. That was heavily planned. One of my favorite edited matches I did, and one of the last ones I did, Taipan versus Cheryl Shipwreck in the MMA match. And no, I cannot remember what the hell Taipan's record in MMA was at that point. Why do you ask? Jason Sawyer, Cornell Stokes. That was a good long running thing. I think it went a little bit too long, but the feud, not the match. I think the feud went a little bit too long, but that's just me being nitpicky.
The match itself was phenomenal, from what I remember.
The match itself was phenomenal. But the main event, American Phoenix's 302-day reign. This is when he was calling himself the Belt Connoisseur versus Wilson Hammett.
The man that Rick Phoenix had just torn up his mama's cape.
The cape, yeah. Giving his old cape a backstory.
Yeah.
I realized that that Wilson Hammett had not been established. People that the two people that remembered the Raw Relax Wrestling days back on the PS3 knew of who Wilson Hammett was. All of the new people watching didn't. So now that I knew that I was screwing up there, I had to give people a reason to give a shit.
Yep.
So give him something that people understand. A sad, emotional backstory. Having a backstory around the thing that he's come out with this the entire time, that damn cape. The cape that back in the day when you used to have the hood.
Yep.
That he looked badass with. The legendary cape that he always came down with. Gave it a backstory, made it that his mother made it for him, and because she was supportive of his wrestling career, and his mother eventually died of cancer, and that was the thing that Phoenix completely tore up. Gave him an emotional promo. People started really getting ready to wait. Can't wait for him to kick his ass now.
Yep.
Even more so.
That.
And then also, let's talk about the match itself.
Which led to one of my favorite entrances for Phoenix, which was as the Reagan speech is playing, all these ladies come down holding his belts.
Oh God, I forgot about
Every
that.
supposed belt he won.
I totally forgot about that shit. Oh my God.
For those that
I
do
will
not
never
know,
forget.
for those that do not know, and I'll say this now, Phoenix's entire belt connoisseur thing, if you haven't figured it out, was a parody on Kenny Omega's Belt Collector. Because I thought it was fucking stupid. So I had Phoenix, this arrogant jackass, every single time he defended his belt, he supposedly won a new championship. So he would constantly gain himself a new championship every single time he would defend his.
I think
Making fun and poking fun at the whole Kenny Omega, I have like 18 different belts crap.
I think my favorite.
I think if I remember correctly, I think one of the belts was like the SCD Alpha Omega Delta whatever heavyweight championship.
That was my favorite.
Fun.
That was my favorite, by the way. I was just gonna say.
Said that, I was just gonna say that I was just like, "Oh, you son of a bitch!" But I had the biggest shit-eating grin on my face.
Yep.
As I was typing it, I was like, "How can I make this the most R-Truth sounding belt on earth?"
I'm sitting here listening to him say it, being like, "Damn it, Phoenix! That's an insult to R-Truth, you bastard."
And it's fucking, I loved it. It was this is my favorite Phoenix run ever. There is no run that will ever top it. I love this run with Phoenix as world champion. This was the funnest time I've ever had with that character. Getting so many people to hate his fucking guts that are new to the show and instantly just say, "I'm new to this and I hate this motherfucker."
So
I love the fact also, like, I think this is also where freaking Lady Liberty turns face. Like, she just turns against Phoenix.
I believe so.
Yeah, setting up.
And I remember, like, I was in a group. Sorry. It was like, I was in a group chat with a couple buddies of mine. One of them being one you guys know now, Honeycombs, aka Adam Rage. I said, "Oh God!" I was like laughing about it. They asked me. I was like, "Okay, this is this." I caught up to speed. He then comes over to the chat and it says something. I forget what it was.
Yeah, he lost his title and his bitch.
I believe that's what he typed.
His girl.
Yep, he lost his title and his girl. Laughed my ass off.
Phoenix had been blaming her. Obviously, Phoenix getting too big for his, getting a bigger head getting obviously a bigger head and getting more paranoid as his reign kept going.
So meanwhile, while all that is happening, right, above him, is that The match that I think it is.
Delvin versus Exodus.
Is that the match where frickin' Delvin decides, I'm a little 5 foot nothing guy, I'm gonna pick up this 600-pound giant and
Yeah.
body slam him? Fucking hell. I wondered. I was like, I know he did it at
This was where
an event, but
This was a match that, as I was recording it, it took so long to do this match. I'm texting Beetle and I'm saying Delvin is a fucking asshole.
pretty much. I remember getting the text message and I was laughing. I sent him an LOL pretty much.
Uh-huh.
Because at this point, I believe at this point in time, I was in the gym every day, or I was not in the gym every day, but I was in the gym like 5 days a week. And I'm at the gym working out, and my phone like buzzed like 5 or 6 times. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Like, so I stop and I look, and he's like, this little motherfucker won't. What was it? He wouldn't. I don't remember if it's he won't lose or he won't win. It was one of the two.
I think he won't lose.
Yeah, this little motherfucker won't lose. I don't know what to do, man. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, he's supposed to lose to Exodus, and he keeps winning the fucking match, and he keeps picking him up and body slamming him. I'm sitting there going, wait, he keeps doing what? To who?
little 5-foot Delvin McLeod earned his goddamn nickname.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I'm kind of thinking in the back of my head, well, I mean, he is called the Mighty Mouse, and if he let this play out, this could show why he's called that. I mean, this would be a great call out to why we call him the Mighty Mouse. But still, to pick up Exodus and body
I
slam
think
him,
I've left. I think I did leave some of them in there
you left.
through the multiple matches.
You left because you had to string a ton of matches together for this. You left one of the body slams in there. And I remember watching it happen live. I'm just like, and then looking at the chat. I looked at the chat when it happened because I was like, "Are they going to react?
I had to leave one of them in there.
Are they going to react?" And people did react, and I was like, "Wow, all right, cool, this worked."
Delvin being Delvin.
And I didn't care that he lost. We had already discussed ahead of time. Well, my viewpoint on this is, it's someone else's show. My characters win, they win. If they lose, they lose. The type of show that you run, I'm happy that they're included. That's all I care about. I'm just happy to see that my characters are being included in the show.
And I think that was leaning towards Delvin turning heel eventually anyway. I think that was also helping you around this time.
This was in 22, because this was the last of 19.
2020. This is 2023. You're still in 22.
But
you're in 22. I'm going into 23, and I'm in 19 going into 22.
Oh, that's right. You're 19 going into 22. I'm 22 going into 23, and I'm getting ready to turn him heel against, because this was leading into Stars and Stripes.
Yeah.
This was leading into. That's right. This timeline was leading into Stars and Stripes. So, yeah, him losing to Exodus worked because I needed something for him to kind of, latch onto and start pining over. Because what ended up happening, as I'll cover when I get to my... Actually, I'll cover it when I get there. But when I get to my stuff, what ended up happening was at...
Wilson Hammett and American Phoenix. Obviously, Phoenix. We had Delvin around this time. Delvin and others convince and talk to Lady Liberty that she is being played.
Oh my god, this really was right before he turned heel. I fucking forgot about this. Because when they were
finally...
Yep.
They finally went to Lady Liberty after Phoenix started screaming at her and telling her that she can go on her that she's not, that she gets to drive the car. She doesn't get the limousine.
Delvin walked up to her backstage pretty much and was like, "You just need to talk to Betty," and then he walked away. Like, that was it. That's all. That's all his conversation with her was. Was like, you need to talk to Betty.
It was the phone call to Betty.
Yep.
that pretty much led to obviously her realizing what Phoenix is a jackass.
This actually led to a segment on Octane where Delvin and Phoenix were having a phone conversation. And Delvin straight up lied to Phoenix and said, I didn't tell her to talk to anybody. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
This is like
Yep.
right when Delvin was turning heel. And he needed the loss. So it worked out.
Yeah, so Phoenix got it. Phoenix got his heart broken.
Mm-hmm.
Not really his heart broken. He just lost one of his stooges that he thought he could that he thought was.
I think in this case, his pride got fucking shattered.
Yeah, his pride got shattered. He got hit with what would be in the game in 22, which was Will Sammett's finisher.
Yep.
The salvation.
Which you edited. I remember you edited it and you showed me.
I put the move together in edit. You
showed me ahead of time too. You're like, hey, let me show you something in Share Factory, and you edited the salvation. I was like, holy shit. And it looks seamless. You have no idea that you edited it. It was two moves put together into one for a finish. I'm just like...
Yep, it was the attitude adjustment and the jackhammer put together.
Yep. I remember you...
And led to the pin. 1, 2, 3. Hammett became world champion.
Okay, we're going to go to the next slide.
Yeah, Phoenix's reign ends.
Alright, we're going to go to the next slide, and then when we go to the next slide, I am going to step away for a few minutes because I need to use the restroom. So I'll let you go and talk about it. CPW Starrcade 2024, Day 1, live from 2K22.
The last of 2K22, as I said on stream, thank heavens. I went back and looked. That's exactly what I said. I sounded so freaking dumb.
You were tired of this garbage.
I was tired of this fucking game. This was when Ashley became the Grand Slam champion. Defeating... Excuse me. Thank you. Defeating Lopez. No, folks, Lopez is not coming back. That was an experiment that died 1,000 deaths. Mafia's reign of terror continued. Gave Candy Vega victory. One match that I was really looking forward to, that I wanted personally, Hiroko Suzuki versus Taipan, because I wanted to see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
The triple.
I was kind of hoping that Hiroko was going to win, but 2K is just like, nope, Taipan's going to win.
At that point, I don't even remember if I did a second match. I think at that point I was just like, I got a match that's decent. Okay, cool, done. I was fed up. So any good match on this damn card was just by pure luck or how many matches I could stomach to put together. The triple threat matchup. Honestly, I really wanted Kelly Mavericks to win this. I was really hoping for it. I was looking forward to it, and then Jesse James retained, and I was like, it works for the storyline, but Newman. I wanted Mavericks to win.
Meanwhile, I was watching it hoping that Zach would win. That was funny.
I would have been fine with, honestly, with recording, I would have been fine with Zach winning. And I would have been fine with Zach winning too. I just thought it would have been good for the Mafia angle if Jesse James lost the United States Championship.
Yeah.
But that didn't end up happening.
It's still good for him that he still has it, because now it's like, okay, we still rule the roost.
Uh-huh.
It really does
A match
work.
that I was so happy to do. Christina Luther versus Rivera Young. Christina Luther putting over Rivera Young, and Rivera Young becoming the women's world champion. After so much bullshit, and which all that bullshit behind the scenes crap could again be its own podcast in and of itself.
Yep.
Won't because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or start any drama that's not necessary.
Mm-mm.
So, but in any case, Rivera Young got what she well deserved, which was the heavyweight championship of the world, and I'm very happy to have her as world champion.
Okay. Next slide.
Which was day 2.
Okay.
Day 2.
Day 2.
And if you couldn't tell by the background of everything, it's in Texas.
Yep. And if anybody saw the show yesterday, on that first one, there are a few people who appeared yesterday in a certain gauntlet match, and on this page there's another gentleman who appeared in that same gauntlet match as well. But I'll let Hans take it away.
Yep. Ted Dietrich, I've been preparing this of that entire season. Dietrich becoming world champion. I have not talked to Brandon Ace yet. I don't know if he's coming back this season. If he's not, I thank him for everything that he's done. No matter what anyone says, I think he's one of the best of this generation of call wrestlers in this hobby. He's for this generation. He's one of the best modern day icons because of how much he's done.
Mm-hmm.
I think
if only he would actually invest in other characters. I'm sorry, I think I didn't say that. If only he could invest in other characters. I was high on his fucking Damian Ace character, but he did not want to keep him.
Yeah, that can happen sometimes. That can happen sometimes with people. With people, you get too critical. But that would be a conversation with the actual person itself.
Yeah.
But if he does come back, great. More stories to tell. If not, I am very thankful that he allowed me to put young Dietrich over, because Dietrich just came in that year.
Yep.
And newcomer. I thought it was phenomenal. I love the ending of the Nathan Cunningham reign as global champion. I thought that was phenomenal.
Hey, Wally.
I loved. Hey, Walter. I loved the twist of giving the tag belts to American made, and then quickly dropping them back to
the Pro Wrestling Express.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Express. I loved it. This also, as you see at the bottom, if Kyle Young wins, he gets Harvey Gibson for 5 minutes. I loved this far better than the previous one I did, because when I did the previous one, I realized, okay, how the hell is this little guy with the game not allowing you to use powder, not allowing you to do anything involving getting around any of the limitations? How could he fight a 7'4", near 500-pound giant?
Yep.
So it ended up just being, he gets chokeslammed and put on a stretcher, boom, done. With this, I could milk it. I could have Kyle get low blowed and hitting the balls, and have Gibson just kick his punt, stomp on him for a couple minutes, and then at the tail end, when the match is about over, Kyle hits his move, 1, 2, 3, and he wins at the tail end at the 1 minute, at 1 second mark is left, and the crowd goes wild. I liked this a lot better. I thought it worked better.
I will say though, I think I remember when you were gonna do this, I'm like, if I knew you told me that Kyle was gonna get this like opportunity. I'm like, can you have him hit the choke slam from hell?
Which I did.
Kind
I
of just
do
him just
remember,
going.
yeah, I do remember him doing that.
Yeah, I was just like, I kind of wanted him to basically just kind of send regards from Armageddon,
Hmm.
which it worked out for the story. So
Yep. And looking back, Kyle was there on commentary for Lady Liberty winning the belt, winning the Intercontinental Championship. So Sarah Knight and Lady Liberty will be back fighting again.
Yep.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Carmen versus Indu. I think Indu has pretty much fought nearly every single ex member of her group except Lil Fettel at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But that was fun to kind of give Carmen closure to the NGC angle and kind of give that closure for a while.
Mm-hmm.
This entire event was fun, but I wish it was in a better game because I know the matches would have been better if it was in a different game because at this point again I was just fed up.
Yeah, and I think you were using my setup, and my setup, as much as it gave you long matches, a lot of the time I found out later on when I went back and rewatched some of them, I thought they were good at the time, and then when I went back and I rewatched, they were just long, and that was it. Like they didn't have a good flow to them. Now the matches I do, they're like maybe 5 to 7 minutes, but they have a good flow, and they always end in a finisher, and I'm happy with the way that I have everything now.
Yeah.
I look back and I'm like, man, I really wish I had this set up in 22, because 22 was like my... Well, you even said it. 22 was like, out of our little group, 22 was my year. You know.
Yeah, you were the one that was able to work around 22 so much that no one could touch you, but no one could touch you at that point.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we have next.
and last to mention, the 5-woman matchup. I think you said that was for a contendership for the Women's World Championship, which was won by Samantha. Apparently, she is the queen of multi-person matches on your side.
Yeah, that means for the first pay-per-view back, when we do come back, the women's main event is going to be for the Women's World Championship. Rivera Young versus Samantha Young.
That ought to be interesting.
Yeah, I think you had originally were going to try to avoid that, but then 2K is like, nope, here you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was going to do the match until Sammy Michaels won. Honestly, I was going to do the match until Sammy Michaels or Catherine T. Fresnetti won. But at that point, I was just so fed up that I was just like, okay, Sammy won. Samantha won. Samantha's a popular person. People would love to see her get another shot at the belt. Fine. I'm fed up at this point. I'll just deal with it in the next game. I hope it's good. And it's good, by the way. For spoilers, yes, it's good. 24, fantastic.
2024 will be a good season for CPW. Yo, what's up, ladies? Hello, Banana Boy 16. Welcome to the channel.
F you.
Please.
Alright, I'm gonna hit page up, and I believe it's on.
That would be,
wrong way.
yeah, that would be you now, my damn friend.
Why are we going through? Oh yeah, because I had to go backwards. Alright, hang on. We'll get there. God damn it. I'm gonna go through odds of screenshots really quick here.
Oh, hi.
Totally.
Again.
Oh, here we go. Alright, so, for me, it is my turn. This was a fun match for me. This was the first octane or high octane that I did in 2K19.
Oh yeah, because
And
that's older Phoenix where he would come out wearing the mask like Andrade and take it off in the ring.
yep, and I have some screenshots from this match, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what that arena looked like. This was the original High Octane that I made in 2K19.
I believe this may have.
This match was for the World Cruiserweight Championship. Delvin went in as the champion. Phoenix was challenging him. And it was a TLC match because I wanted to prove that you could do a cool TLC match. And what I ended up doing was half or almost towards the end.
That Pokemon?
It's Pikachu! Towards the end of the match. Hold on. Towards the end of the match.
Hold them, defend.
Towards the end of the match, I had Betty walk out, and Betty and Delvin got into an argument at ringside, and Delvin turned around to put his attention back on the match. Phoenix was right behind him, hits his finisher, or like hits him with an American All-American Slam or something like that. I forgot what we were calling it.
Yeah, if it's the angle slam, yeah, it's the All-American Slam.
All right. So Phoenix is standing right behind him. Delvin doesn't even get to turn around. Phoenix turns him around, hits the All-American Slam, climbs the ladder, and grabs the title.
Not on podcast days, there, Blaze. We hold off on Shocking Beetle and on podcast days.
Yeah, they're gonna get me. They're gonna get me next time. Although that did hurt, damn it. Anyway, so Phoenix spins Delvin around, hits his finisher, climbs up the ladder, grabs the briefcase, and why aren't they floating over it? Oh, because it's on top. Shit. Well.
It's also a belt.
Yeah, that's also. Yeah. But he raises the belt up, grabs the title, Phoenix wins the match. Betty helped him win. That was the start of
that storyline.
Yeah, and that was this is before Lady Liberty. So this is the storyline where we get to kind of develop Phoenix into the American asshole.
Uh-huh.
And
that whole storyline ends with me forgetting who he's dating, making Lady Liberty.
Yep.
Gee, it sounds like a pattern. With me forgetting.
And we
use it to our advantage to give Phoenix an out with Betty.
Yep. Because at the time I was looking for it out. I was like, I need to get Phoenix away from Betty. And shit, wrong way. All right. Then we go to the second High Octane that I did in 2K19. So I did it. The first one actually was in 18. I don't have screenshots from it, so I'm not touching on it. It was done live. It was my very first show. 19, I did that High Octane, and then I decided to do this one, and this one is High Octane 3. And I started adding the numbers to it because I was watching a lot of old WrestleManias at the time, and I saw how he would always put the Roman numerals at the end of the event, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, I want to do that. So
they still do.
They still do, yeah.
Or they did.
They did. They don't do it anymore, but they used to for a long time. And I started doing that for these events because it was like, these are big events. I want them to have numbers. I don't know why. I just decided I wanted to make it more like a WrestleMania, give it more of a WrestleMania look and feel. So it's in this big, grand ballroom arena, as you can see. And I've got 2 matches that I picked out to talk about.
And Phil was in the ring and said, welcome to High Octane 3!
Oh, I know it was me and you on commentary. I went back and rewatched a little bit of it.
Ooh, nice chest samurai.
I picked 2 matches. 2 matches to talk about.
I like the Hisui and Arcanine better, but...
Mm-hmm. So I picked 2 matches to talk about here. Mika Asami versus Stephanie McLeod. That was one of my favorites because I was building Mika into a bigger star at that point. And she had run the gauntlet before this. So she in the weeks leading up to this I had her fighting so many different people just to get this match for
Wasn't
the
this one
win.
of the last Stephanie? And not to interrupt, but wasn't this one of the last Stephanie McLeod matches before in character she got pregnant?
This was the match, actually. This was the final match, if I remember correctly. There was actually a cut scene later on in the show where they shook hands and Stephanie told her that she was getting ready to have a child.
I know. I learned that while recording the No Escape while recording the Devastation Asylum match.
And you were also on commentary, and I remember hearing your tone of voice when you got really quiet. I didn't know why, and I was like, "Why is he getting quiet?" But anyway, yes,
That's a different story for another day.
yes, but that was her crowning moment, and then the next match that I wanted to show was Zach Adams versus Mark McLeod for the World Heavyweight Championship, because I forgot about this until I went back and rewatched it. Zach won the title that night.
That's right.
This was Zach's first World Heavyweight Championship win, and I completely forgot that it had happened.
I did too. I completely forgot about it too.
I don't think I know about this one.
Yeah, Zach won the World Championship that night against Mark McLeod. Mark, in the pay-per-views leading up to this, was putting on dominant performances, dominant matches. I wanted him to look like super strong. These two put on a classic, and Zach walked out the winner. Now, the only other match that I didn't put on this that I kind of wanted to was that triple threat. There was a triple threat main event. The triple threat main event was for the Intercontinental Championship. I believe it was James Mack, Jay Benton, and Dougal McLeod, and it was for the Intercontinental Championship. That was the headlining match of the show. And it's because I had something set up at the very end that was setting up for the next season.
Because if there's anybody that's a real belt collector, it's Jay fucking Benton.
Right. So Benton was going in as a challenger. Mac was going in as a challenger. This was like Dougal's moment, essentially. So a lot of the McLeods had lost belts that night, and this was that moment where it was the time where I decided, okay, one of them is actually going to walk out of here as a winner, and that was Dougal. And Dougal wins the match, and after the match, the stream does not end. Something actually happens, and it's Stan Sterling, who had been gone for like probably 6 months. And before he left, he was this flashy, kind of stunning Steve Austin-esque type of character, right? So kind of a mixture of Dolph Ziggler and stunning Steve Austin. That was his character at the time. He even had the calf crusher as a finisher. And he walks out.
By the way, not to interrupt, but by the way, for those that do not know, if you watch old WCW tapes, Austin does the calf crusher.
Yep.
It's the actual legitimate version of the calf crusher that he puts in. Not the AJ Styles version. He actually puts in the legit how you're actually supposed to do it. But
yeah,
there you go.
So you hear music hit. I don't know what the music is, right? This guy walks out. He's got short, blonde hair. I'm like, who the hell is this? I'm like, wait a minute, that's Stan Sterling. What the hell? And then he locks Dougal in a calf crusher. After Dougal's been in like a 20-minute Iron Man triple threat match. And just makes him tap out, picks the belt up, holds it up, the camera zooms in, and we go off the air. And that led into like a year-long feud between those two. Where it was just like I was able to really tell Stan's story at that point. And turn him into kind of that cold-hearted. I wanted to turn him into more of a Stone Cold type character, but we already have Stone Cold type characters, so he ended up being more of a Randy Orton meets Dexter Lumis type character.
Because because our Austin, if you don't know, our Austin is called Desmond Rouge.
Yep.
And a certain friend of ours would say he cheats with his hair.
Yep. And that is a story for another time. As we go.
Exactly. We're saying that a lot right now on this
Yes.
show.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we are. All right. So my next match that I wanted to touch on was this main event matchup. I've streamed this a few times actually now, where I've watched the match. I did a watch along when I watched it and commented on it and that kind of stuff. And that is the High Octane 4 main event. And it was a 1-hour Iron Woman match between Nebula and Carolyn Ling. Nebula was going in as the challenger, Carolyn Ling the champion, and all of the weeks leading up to this, I had Nebula squashing people. Like she was destroying the roster. Like she looked stronger than ever. Carolyn, on the other hand, was kind of starting to struggle. She was having a little bit of a hard time. She had just become the Women's Undisputed Champion. And she was in kind of a funk going into this match. They go into this. They go an entire hour back and forth. And Carolyn somehow, some way, overcame the wave of momentum that Nebula was riding and defended the belt. And this was it was one of my favorite matches to record and stream. Because I believe I did, I recorded 2 of them. Just in case. I recorded 2 and picked my favorite, and in my favorite, Carolyn won. So I was like, alright, cool. Because the first one was a full-on 1-hour squash, and I was like, no, we need to re-record this. And the second one was really close, and that's the one I went with. Alright. Here are the winners from that event. Carolyn winning her belt. Demolition won the World Championship that night. The Articuno match, that was really cool. That was a match that is one of my favorites. I did a 8 or a 16 woman battle royal where we had 2 different winners in 2 rings, and the winners fought for the women's U.S. title. Articuno walked out as the winner that night in a fight against Brittany Palmer, and that was a frickin' match to remember.
Or isn't it now Arnatina's Hailfire?
And
whatever.
Angela Hailstorm. Anyway, Delvin and Dougal would walk out with the tag team championships that night. There's Stan. He beat Dougal for the Intercontinental belt. A young Arthur Duncan before Fantasy Island and all the other stuff, before his face photo.
Buzz, the plane.
Yep. Before the face photo, before the slick back hair, before the Lovebird entrance and all that stuff with Betty.
It's to the greatest.
Arthur Duncan at the end of 19 winning the World Cruiserweight Championship. And then on that bottom corner, the mother and daughter team of Barb and Dixie before Barb retired, winning the tag team championships. I believe that was their first time winning the belts too.
I believe so.
So this is the match card for it, the match setup, and how I had it all. This was the first pay-per-view that I did on Twitch. And that was a lot of fun. Oh yeah, that's right. It was Phoenix that he beat. Phoenix was the undisputed champion. Phoenix was the first ever, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Phoenix was the first ever Octane undisputed champion. And his first opponent was Demolition.
Yeah, wasn't this I think this is during his run as the belt connoisseur.
It is, because Liberty was still with him at the time. He hadn't broken her heart yet, and all of that. And I stand corrected, it was not Dougal that Stan defended against it was Eddie Ward. Alright. Then, so this was a fun one for me. This was the All 22 High Octane. High Octane 5. This was done in 22 entirely. You can see in the top corner, the American Phoenix versus Arthur Duncan with their respective teams at ringside. There was a special match that happened after that, and I actually put it on the match card, but I didn't play it until the very end. I made it look like it wasn't the main event, and that is Delvin McLeod versus Freedom's Reign inside Hell in a Cell, Falls Count Anywhere. And that was fun, because at the beginning of the show, I had Freedom's Reign lay out Delvin, center of the ring, walk away. It looked like Delvin was injured. We didn't know what was going to happen. We get to the main event. It's the American Phoenix versus Arthur Duncan. And Phoenix, with the help of Freedom's Reign and Clarence Black, defeats Arthur, winning the belt.
And I believe I was going into 22 at this point, and my season has. I think I was still making cause in 22 at this point, and my season was over. My season in 19 was over.
Mm-hmm. So Phoenix.
And I was still basically just. I was just there.
Phoenix walks away with the belt, right? Phoenix wins the belt, and then you hear music hit. You see flames on the stage. And out walks Demon Delvin McLeod. Not even normal Delvin. The Demon. He walks out, and before we pan back to the ring, Phoenix and Clarence is carrying Phoenix off through the crowd. Essentially, it's like, get me out of here. A cell drops.
Run. The poor giant lug is the one that's stuck in the ring.
Yep.
With Phoenix saying, "Sucks to be you."
Yep. Sucks to be you. I ain't fighting no demon. And yeah, that was the main event. The surprise for the main event was Demon Delvin showed up and fought Freedom's Reign. And I tried telling the story as best I could, which was essentially somehow, some way, Delvin was out of the show. It looks like that match isn't happening. Oh no, what's going to happen? And then in the main event, at the end, oh, there he is, and he's in demon form, of all things. Which I tried my best to make sure that he never lost in demon form. I think I had him lose like one time in that form, but mostly he wouldn't lose. So whenever he walks out with the face paint on, you know, shit's going down. And then I think I actually broke that rule this year, but we're getting there. Also, another memorable match on this card was Zero versus Kelly Mavericks for the Cruiserweight World Championship. That was a technical classic. Let's see, are there any others that really stood out big time? Probably the Undisputed Championship match. This was the night, I believe, that I put the belt on Luther. The first time. So this is a year into Carolyn's title reign. We're now a year out from the 2K19 show where she defended it in an hour-long match with Nebula, and she put over Luther in this match. That was an important match to me because Luther had just lost the NXT Women's Championship at that point. So that was a big match. Then oh shit, wrong way.
Yeah.
Then there's this card. This is High Octane 6 from Glasgow, Scotland. This is done in 2K23 and in 22. I couldn't find the card for night 1, I don't think, unless it's there, and it's not. Okay. Couldn't find the card for night 1, but night 1 had 3 matches on it and a big Royal Rumble, or 2 Royal Rumbles, I think. And then night 2 was this card right here that we're looking at. Night 1 was done in 22, night 2 was done in 23. This year I've wisened up and I'm only doing things in 24 and I'm not doing anything else. But I would say the main stories going into this one were probably the Hell in a Cell match between Dougal and Killshot, and then the one-on-one with Delvin and Wasson, because Delvin had made Wasson's life a living hell going into this. So I wanted to make sure that Wasson got his comeuppance on this show. And with Dougal, he was trying to make up for, siding with Delvin during the heel run, which I'll cover in another episode. Delvin's
could be his own stream.
Yep. Delvin's redeeming moment, pretty much. He had just found out that he was going to have kids a little before this, and he was trying to make things right, essentially.
Yes, I remember that scene. I am pregnant.
Freaking Delvin's like, oh shit.
It's like, well, shit, now what do I do? And then he, what happened. He's on a redemption story arc still, so that's the fun part. He's in this like, I'm sorry. It's like, shut up, Delvin. Just you're okay. Stop apologizing, damn it. Does that sound familiar?
Pretty much. It sounds very familiar.
Yes, I'm sure. I was waiting for you to say that. Let's see. Glow World Championship, Christina Luther versus Jen Corso. That was a really good match. That I don't know if it aired because I kind of screwed up on the match before it. So the match before it, Lioness versus Christian Kelly. In the recordings, I kept getting matches where the match would end in 5 minutes, and I was getting pissed off. It's like, I don't want a match that ends in 5 minutes. So I tried re-recording. I'm like, okay, if this match can go 15 minutes or longer, I'll pick that match. And they put on a match, it goes 15 minutes or longer. I'm like, perfect. That's after hitting replay 1,000 times. So I go in and I thought that I cut out the original match and that we were going into the one that went 15 minutes. I'm like, this is perfect. I get to the stream and the match ends in 5 minutes. I was like, fuck. And I had a different winner in the second match. I didn't care who won, I just wanted it to go 15 minutes. So Kelly beats Lioness in, I think it was 5.
Yeah, but there's another part of this story. During the up-and-coming of the next match, there's a bubbling on your phone of, was that ending supposed to happen?
Yep.
To the Luther Jen match, and you were like, no.
The Luther Jen match didn't even get to happen. The match before it, what match got cut off? Oh, the match that got cut off was the women's championship match between Starlet and Carolyn. One of these matches gets cut off in the middle three. And I believe it is Starlet versus Carolyn that got cut off because I screwed up on the Intergalactic Championship match. So the Glow World Championship match happens, the Intergalactic Championship match happens, and then we got to the other match, Starlet Carolyn Ling, and I had to frickin' skip over that because I fucked it up. Because I had two different winners, and I wanted the longer of the two matches. I didn't want a 5-minute match, and I got the 5-minute match instead. Just had to skip, which is fine.
You got the text of was that match supposed to happen that way? And you were like, no,
it wasn't. Yeah, the Luther Jin match was not supposed to happen the way that it did, but I couldn't get it to. I ran out of time recording it. It's like I'm gonna try. Fuck, I don't have any more time. All right, cool. I'll go with this one because it's better. And then the women's championship match. This was another one that really stood out. The undisputed championship match. Tasha Blaze versus Nebula. These two throughout this season or that season. Across two different games, mind you. In 2K22, I had a few matches with them there, and then they had a few matches in 23, and that all led into this match. Because I was recording, like I said, at this time I was a glutton for punishment, and I was recording stuff in 22 and 23 at the same time. So I would literally be on my capture card recording matches in 23, while at the same time recording matches in 22 and putting two shows together simultaneously. I do not recommend it. I can't do it anymore. Ever since having COVID, I can barely single task if I'm lucky. So
you couldn't do it beforehand.
I'm getting there. I couldn't do it before.
You couldn't do it before you had COVID, let alone when you had COVID.
Especially after. Anyway, this was a fun card to do. That match, the main event match, I believe it was the Women's Undisputed Championship, Tasha Blaze versus Nebula. I ended it inside Hell in a Cell. It ended phenomenally. Like I couldn't have planned the ending any better. They fought for probably 30 minutes. They climbed to the top of the cell. They're fighting. It's a 2 out of 3 falls match. They each have a fall. They're at the very top. Nebula grabs Tasha, choke slams her through the top of the cell, drops down, and pins her. 1, 2, 3. And I couldn't have been more elated because I got the finish that I wanted. Like, I was like, I'm not even gonna mess with this. I'm leaving it the way it is. It's long enough, it's epic enough, and the finish is perfect. And I was happy with it. I wish I had Night 1 to show you guys, because Night 1 had an effect on one of these matches, but I forgot what it was. So anyway, those are my high octane moments. Yeah. Anyway, do you guys have any last thoughts before we head out for the day?
Well, there are more moments to come with all of our shows, obviously, and everything else. These moments are just some. I highly recommend go back and watch any of these shows that we are talking about, and we have talked about, and any more from our channels. They are a lot of fun to watch, and you can definitely see how we have progressed.
I would recommend checking.
We're still progressing, depending on who you're talking about.
Well, we all are still progressing.
Everyone progresses all the time. I would recommend checking out the highlight reels that Odds has on his channel. Check out those entrance showcases on Samurai's channel as well. I've really been liking those and liking the way that you've been setting those up. It's kind of showing what's coming up, and I'm looking forward to it. So there are some things to look forward to and to check out. Also, I noticed there were a few Easter eggs in those videos, but another time, another place. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it has.
And certainly we have more to come. Obviously, I'm still working on things as far as what we are doing CPW wise. From the way it's looking, if everything goes according to plan, I should be starting to download other people's cause by August, by the starting of August. And the first show back should be somewhere around there, somewhere around August, so it should be sometime around August, mid to late August.
Awesome. For me, I'm getting ready to head into another pay-per-view. It's coming up in a couple weeks. It's going to be a 2-night event, so I got to start recording matches for it. Sunset Slam, it is. I now do like 3 big high-octane-like events each year. I think what I'm going to start doing, a big change to the channel, is probably coming. And that's going to be something that I had said I was going to start doing and I didn't, and I'm really going to try and actually do it this time, which is live, unedited shows and pay-per-views leading up to a edited mega event, like a 2-night event pay-per-view type deal, every 3 months. So live weekly shows, live monthly pay-per-views, and then three big edited shows a year. So that way I can really be able to focus on the shows that I'm editing in the months when I have to do it. And then I don't have to do it in other months. And I can focus on personal goals. So
yeah,
that's kind of where I'm heading right now. I just figured I would throw that out there. But yeah. On that note,
and Samurai,
yes.
what are you up to?
Currently, I am basically recording the tournaments for Ring of Iron's tournaments, which is going to be both on 23 and 24 because I don't have everybody on either game. So, for example, like I have a couple of odds scores that he does not have on 23. There's also some calls they're not on 24, so pretty much it's a balancing act. I will say currently one is done. I still got to edit like another one, and I'm still in the process of recording another one.
And
First, we record them all back to back to back, and then whatever happens.
And what days do you think you'll be going live? Days and times for the folks at home?
Depending how things go, I'm gonna aim to try to do these Ring of Iron tournaments on Wednesday. At least not all of them on Wednesday. Probably sometime during the weekend. I'm just shooting for Wednesday being a stream day.
Okay. Are we talking middle of the day or later at night?
I'm gonna try to aim for somewhere in the afternoon because I already know some of you motherfuckers are gonna be at work.
Yep.
Motherfucker will just show up at the end of a stream going, "Hey, Samurai, beetle it! The show's over, go home!"
Yeah. If I'm at work, I'm not going to watch, but when I get home, I'll watch the replay. And then send you DMs and, do what I normally do, which is like, hey, I really like X, Y, and Z. And it's like, why weren't you there live? I was working. My guy's like,
something called working.
Do it on a Saturday or a Sunday when I'm home. No, I get it. You have D&D on Saturdays, so it's all good.
Saturdays and Sundays.
Yep.
Although today it's only gonna be today because yesterday was Clash of the Castle, so the DM was just watching his stuff with his dad.
Yeah, I get it. I'm speaking of dads. It is Father's Day. I need to call mine.
Hope all the fathers watching are having a phenomenal Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
For us here at the Let's Talk Call Shop podcast, we wish all the fathers in the audience a happy Father's Day, and we will return to you in the not next week, but the following week after. Since as always, this is a bi-weekly podcast.
Yep. And as
And
always, oh, go on.
this and as always, this shop is now closed. Catch y'all later.